Welcome to the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast, where it's all about life in the car business. Telling you like it is, here's the man with the plan, Terry Cameron.
Welcome back to another episode of the 10-Minute Car Sales Talk Podcast. I'm Terry Cameron. Happy December, everybody. We've got a few more weeks until Christmas time, my favorite time of the year. Not only because I get to spend a lot of time with my friends and family, but it's also a great time to be selling cars. And today what we're going to talk about is how to get your customer from the lot to inside sitting at your desk. What I find to be the biggest problem when a salesperson loses a customer, well, it usually happens about at 2 times. The worst time is right after the greeting, and that's because we did something or said something stupid to the customer, and we lost their confidence. They didn't like us, they didn't want to work with us, and we lose them. And when it happens at that time, chances are we didn't even get enough information with them for a manager or anybody else for that matter to follow up with that customer and try to get them back in. And I think we've talked about that before, and you can go back and listen to the all-important meet and greet if you need some help getting over that portion of the process with your customer. But the other time is after we get off of the test drive. You know, and it just doesn't make sense. Why would a customer leave after the test drive? And I guess we can think of a few obvious things. And number one, they didn't like the car, and we didn't ask enough questions to find that out. They didn't like us. So there could be some other reasons, but it would be terrible for the customer to leave at this time because what have you done so far with them? Well, you built a little rapport, I hope. You've asked some investigative questions. You found out their hot buttons and what's important to them, who's going to be the primary driver, what they're going to be using it for, things like that. We spent some time on that presentation, that targeted feature advantage benefit presentation, and we just took them on a test drive. Spent another 15, 20 minutes on the test drive getting them to fall in love with the vehicle, getting them to take total mental ownership, TMO, of that vehicle. And when we get back, if we don't do the right things and they decide that they're going to leave, what a waste of time. So we really got to get them a little bit further. So that's what I want to talk about today, is how to get from the lot to your desk. Number one, this has to be done before you can go inside and start your negotiations. You have to have a commitment. Don't underestimate the importance of having a commitment before you go inside and start negotiating. Why? Well, most important, if you don't have a commitment before you go inside, the only tool that you have to work with is price. And the only way to go with price is down. I hope you're not the salesperson that says, "Hey, Mr. Customer, y'all want to go inside and take a look at the numbers?" And if they do go inside, that's all they're going in to do is take a look at the numbers. You have no commitment to buy. That's not selling. That's not closing. That's just hoping your manager is going to drop the price low enough for the customer to say, "Yeah, I'll take it now." When you ask for a commitment, you have to try to understand if that the response isn't yes, it's no. Maybe means no, possibly means no. We might consider it means no. We might means no. We have to think about it means no. If it's not yes, it's no. So before you start your negotiations, make sure you have that commitment. Let's start this way. Let's get their trade information. As soon as you can, continue closing with action closes. That means doing something. As soon as I get a yes, I start doing the things that mean you're buying a car. One of the first things you should do is pull out a business card or a notepad and start writing down the mileage and VIN on the trade. Now, I want you to think about this. Do this right away, even if you have a specific appraisal slip that you use. Why do we want to do that? Well, because we have a commitment to purchase, but the sale isn't complete yet. We have a yes, and the selling action gets the ball rolling and leads you to the next step. You got to get the customer involved with these action closes. Get them involved. You need the registration, but you don't rip through their glove box for a couple reasons. First of all, a lot of people are not comfortable with a stranger looking through all the stuff we keep there. Who knows what we're going to find? Weapons, maybe other things. Let's just not talk about those. But more importantly, it gets them involved and keeps them moving. So there's no mental time here for second thoughts about the decision they just made. So we want to ask them to get their registration out of their glove box for us. and tell them it's because we just don't feel comfortable going through our customer's personal stuff. So now, before you start the negotiations on their trade, you do your silent walk around. Now, this is critical. You either do it now, after you start the paperwork with the customer there, or when they can see you do it. I've talked about this in a previous episode. It's also not a bad idea to try to do this before you even go on the test drive. Now, we know they're going to tell you all the good stuff about the trade. So we use this walk around to make the customer aware of what's not right with their car. Look, including myself, I do this all the time. When somebody asks me about my truck, and I have an 11-year-old truck that I use, and it has been very, very good to me. Well, and people say it's perfect. And I said, yes, it's in great shape. But I forgot about that crack in the grill. I forgot about the fact that the power seat goes front to back, but not up and down. That's normal to me now. So if people are not if we don't bring that up to the customer, they forget all about that, and it's not that big of a deal. So you got to look at their tires, you got to check the tread depth, look down the side of the car, check the upholstery for holes and burns, do the entire car, and just jot down some notes saying, a lot. Also ask if there's anything we need to know about the car. We tell our customers we provide a Carfax on all our pre-owned cars to any customer that requests one. But before we pull one on your trade, is there anything that we should be aware of that might show on your car's history? Even if it's not on the Carfax, they'll tell you about it now. Now you want to close again and make them feel comfortable. Now it's time to move inside, and an easy transitional question is, come on in and we'll take care of the paperwork. Now while I'm doing this, can I get you a cup of coffee, or would you rather have something cold to drink? If they say coffee, they've agreed to drink their coffee doing what? That's right, the paperwork. Plus, we want them to be relaxed. Sit them down, create some urgency. Remember, when you were a kid and there was this ball sitting next to you that you were playing with a little bit, and what was your initial reaction, and how did you feel if somebody else came and took the ball away? You're right, you wanted it even more. So now we need to move to our desk and say something like, you folks go ahead and have a seat. I'll be right back. We have over 15 salespeople here, and this is one of our most popular models, so I want to check and make sure the car is still available. Now you can get some more commitments at this time also. Have them remove their keys from their key ring. That's an action close. Take their keys and registration and title with you. Have them start to fill out a customer satisfaction form or anything else that they could fill out and sign. Get the paperwork from your sales office. Instead of keeping a blank paperwork at your desk, get a blank customer statement and write-up or worksheet from the sales office for 2 reasons. 1 is to leave the keys and registration to the trade with your manager. And number 2, to make your manager aware that you have a customer that you need to introduce to him. You've presented and demonstrated. You've closed and handled their objections. You have a commitment to purchase now. Now the rest of this is easy. Right? The rest of this is really easy. We know how to close a customer. We know how to present the figures to the customer. We just got to get them inside. So let's review real quick. We've done everything we could. We did a good meet and greet. We built some rapport. We went on a good test drive. We came back, and now we need that commitment to buy before we go in, and we don't get it by asking the question, y'all want to go and see what the numbers look like? No. We want to get some information off their trade, do their silent walk around, get them to give us their registration, take their keys off the keychain. And as they're doing all these things, their mind is saying yes. And when they say yes enough, it's really hard to say no when you ask that final closing question. Now we're going to start heading inside. Hey guys, let's go inside, take care of the paperwork. And while we're doing this, you want something hot or cold to drink. Who cares what they say? If they've answered that question with hot or cold or no thanks, we're fine. They still decided to sit down and wrap up the paperwork. Remember, this is not rocket science. This is really easy, but it really makes no sense, and I mean 0 sense at all, to negotiate with a customer that has not made a commitment to purchase. If you give them your very best deal and they didn't buy, well, guess what they're doing? They're taking your very best deal and going to the dealership down the street and negotiating with them. I don't know if you know this, but they usually purchase from the last dealership they stopped at, the one that beat your deal by $50. So we got to make them want this vehicle. We have to have a commitment. And if we don't give them our best deal, how are they going to get it from us if they leave? You're absolutely right. They have to come back. And if they come back, we've got them. That's called a be-back, and the closing percentage on a be-back is 67%. I'll take those odds all day long. So let's finish this month, this year out really strong. Let's start getting commitments to buy. Let's stop giving numbers, payments, trade appraisals to customers that are just not committed to buying the car from you right now. If you do this, are you going to lose a couple of them? Absolutely. But you were going to lose them anyway. But at the same time, you're going to gain some more, and the ones you gain are also going to be better grosses. So guys, one more time, I want you to have a happy holiday season. Have a great week selling cars. And remember, the sky's the limit. I'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening to this week's podcast. Please rate it on iTunes and visit the 10minutesalestalk.com website to send an email. We appreciate your valuable feedback, and don't forget to share the show with a friend.